Splash was an idea that Brian had developed.
I created what I thought was the perfect girl by definition, and then assigned a symbol to that girl, and that symbol was a mermaid. And the most important thing was not only was beauty in the exterior and beauty in spirit.
He'd gotten a screenplay written, but the screenplay was a little awkward, wasn't really working very well, and it kept getting put into turnaround. The idea was interesting enough that studios would invest a little money and time in it, and then they'd kind of let go of it. And that's where it was. It was in limbo.
Every person in the world had turned this, people who didn't even have movie studios, just like people who were shopping, people would turn this picture down. And then he started talking to Ron about it while we were making Night Shift, and they said, well, let's see what the boys think.
We'd had such a good creative relationship with Lowell and Babaloo that Brian said, why don't we just all go to work on Splash? And, you know, the screenplay really clicked. It was redeveloped at the same company where we had done Night Shift, the Ladd Company, for Warner Brothers. And they were very happy with the script, and it seemed like they were going to make it.
And then another mermaid movie appeared and it appeared having all of the sort of Hollywood weight you could possibly have. It had a star producer in Ray Stark, and had Warren Beatty involved, and Herbert Ross was the director, and Robert Towne was the writer. And it was so overpowering to our little mermaid movie Splash that ours got put into turnaround, and it had no home.
Brian, at this moment, kicked into a gear that sort of defines him as a successful producer and among the elite in his field.
It became kind of a David and Goliath story. And I was the little David, and the Goliath was this other mermaid movie.
I always thought it said something about Brian, you know, the fact that, you know, every studio kind of turned them down on this movie.
I will never, ever give up on an idea that I love. So in the case of Splash, it was an idea that I was in love with, and I just wouldn't let anyone break me down.
Finally, we went to Disney.
I mean, Disney was a pretty sleepy studio at that point. I mean, it really felt, if it was like the land that time forgot. You'd like drive on there and you felt like it looked exactly as it must have looked in like 1941.
I mean, the question was like, do you see it as a talkie, Mr. Howard?
You know, and they were just so eager. They were kind of like so excited that somebody was bringing them anything.
And then they said, now what about this other movie, Mermaid?
Ron and I said, we're going to make our movie cheaper, faster, better than the other movie.
That was a guarantee I could make.
And Disney believed in us.
We had a deal the next day to make Splash.
Disney at that time was clearly branded only Disney, mostly G-rated films, and Ron was afraid that his movie would get recut. I assured him it wouldn't get recut, even though how could I know?
They were used to sort of seeing the Disney fare of that time, and the live action stuff was more like Gus the Field Goal Kicking Mule and you know, the fifth installment of Herbie. And here was something that was a bit more adult. Then they had to decide, can they put the Disney name on a PG movie?
Michael Eisner had then taken over Disney and was excited by Splash.
They came up with the notion of actually starting another label.
They had to create Touchstone Pictures in order to release the film because they didn't want the Disney name to be associated with something, you know, as scandalous as, you know, My Naked Bottom.
Ron Miller was running the studio, then he had a career as like a USC football player. My joke was that Ron Miller wanted it to be called Touchdown Pictures, but it was misunderstood, and so it came as Touchstone. I thought it was neat that whatever the movie was going to do was going to be the very first film underneath this new kind of banner, which has since gone off to be, you know, incredibly successful and profitable.
I love that it launched Touchstone. And in fact, Michael will still say to me, your movie was the first movie that launched Touchstone. Make another movie for us.
The list of terrific, entertaining actors who passed on the movie is still a little depressing.
Everybody who was an A-list movie star at the time was offered Splash at Disney, directed by Ronnie Howard, which, you know, that would have all the impact as, say, guess what? They're making a movie called The Boatniks at Disney.
Brian had met Tom Hanks as a candidate for the part that John Candy ultimately played, Freddie, the brother. You know, we had thought that, you know, if Michael Keaton or John Travolta, you know, played the part, a couple of actors who we were very interested in, who were showing some interest, then, you know, Tom Hanks might be a good candidate for the brother. At the same time, Hanks did a guest shot on Happy Days, which I had left the show as an actor, but Ganz and Mandel were still sort of consulting on the show.
My series had been canceled, and I just kind of like got this call to say, would you like to do this thing and on Happy Days? And I needed the work, so and I wasn't doing anything.
And then he showed up as this guy who spent his entire life seeking revenge.
He wanted to beat up Fonzie.
He wanted to beat up Fonzie since he was a kid and was pushed off a swing by Fonzie.
But he was so funny.
And he was
just so funny.
I've waited for this moment. The yoke has finally been lifted. I feel satisfied. Oh, it feels so good.
We recommended him, and Ron's assistant Louisa had loved Bosom Buddies.
And she kept saying, he's funny, he's cute, you've got to see some episodes. And one day she got hold of some tapes and made me sit down and look at these episodes. And of course, you know, I'd heard how good he was. But here I watched, you know, parts of 3 episodes. His timing was just impeccable. He was great. He came in and auditioned one day.
I went to Disney, and this was old Disney, you know, the Disney studios, in which the whole, you know, it's a very kind of grim place. It was kind of empty and abandoned. I went on a rainy day, and it was truly a downpour. It was a deluge that was going on, and I was sort of like ran inside some side door of some low-slung bungalow that hadn't been painted for a while, walked down some dark, abandoned hallways, and came upon Brian Grazer's office.
He should have been nervous because he was just a guy off a TV series.
Right off the bat, I felt comfortable, number one, because the production office was so tacky, and number two, Brian seemed like a regular guy as opposed to some imposing, you know, Hollywood stereotypical producer.
You would think he'd exude complete nervousness, you know, and that, like, I want this job stuff, but he didn't. And I was always curious about that.
Ron came in after a while, and it was a bit intimidating because I had never met Ron. So here suddenly is, you know, Opie Cunningham, and chatted with him a little bit, and that was it. I wasn't there, I don't think, for more than 40 minutes or so, and was told that I needed to prepare the audition pieces.
Hey, Alan. She left me, okay? She's not coming back. She moved out. My life's a shambles, okay? That's the news. You want the weather? Anywhere but the first 3 rows.
And I remember thinking, well, you know, nobody's going to go to a Tom Hanks movie, but if you just care about casting the role, you couldn't get anybody better.
Are you from Cape Cod? Oh, no, I'm from another place.
Oh, yeah? I got a cousin from there.
When he walked out, Ron and I said, this is our guy. Let's just get him.
I'm glad everybody said no. So they got me with all the enthusiasm in the world.
Once we'd cast Tom Hanks, who wasn't a named comedian, it became very important, especially to Brian, to have a big comedy name in the movie. I kept saying, well, John Candy, I love him, he's talented, but they don't look anything like brothers. And Brian kept saying, forget, don't worry. What matters is, you know, if he's funny, that's all I care about. He was so right.
There goes! Yeah!
Tom Hanks was elated when he found out he was going to be acting with John Candy and then Eugene Levy.
I had been watching John in the way that fanatics watch TV shows for about 2.5 years on Second City.
I think Ron Howard's a rough man to work for. I can't stand him. His family. I think Tom Hanks, with all his problems, couldn't act his way out of a paper bag. Daryl Hannah, one of the few people I enjoyed on that entire film, and they wouldn't let me work with her.
This movie would not have worked had it not been for Daryl. I mean, Daryl's ethereal quality. I mean, she's a woman of mystery, absolutely.
I had been sort of obsessed with the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale Little Mermaid ever since I was a kid, and fantasized about being one myself since I was little, tied my feet together in the pool and practiced swimming like that from a very early age.
Daryl I'd seen in Blade Runner, and I loved how she looked. I thought there was an iconography in her presence.
I didn't want the mermaid, Madison, to be an object. I really wanted her to be a noble character, powerful in her own right, and really worthy of deep love. And this is what Brian, always had in mind as well, just as long as the girl was hot, too, which, certainly no problem in casting Daryl Hannah.
I just fell in love with her lips and her eyes, and I thought she had to be the mermaid. And I got amazing resistance. It was unrelenting, actually. And they said, no, you can't hire her. So we did a screen test.
Why didn't you speak to me before this?
I didn't know English.
And now you do?
Yeah, I learned this afternoon from television. It's wonderful. Now I can ask you questions. And if you answer them correctly, you can win one of these valuable prizes. An attractive wall clock, a matching washer and dryer set, or a brand new car.
Whoa. Let
And I said, she's perfect for the mermaid, because the mermaid had to have a simplicity. And she also had to have a quality that forced your eyes to her. Ultimately, they just said no, and the studio boss at the time had to go to Switzerland, I believe. And so once he took off on an airplane, I just pulled the trigger and hired her.
The first read-through we had for it, in which John Candy was there, I mean, everybody was there, Eugene Levy, who I was such a fan of from the SCTV days.
I just remember John and I drove up to the first read-through together. And I think we were I think the most exciting thing was working with Ron, because it was like, he was like, at that time was like a living legend, having had a career since he was 2.
And I was just a guy on a TV show. I really felt as though here at this read-through around the table, I was going to have to score, just like I had to score when I was doing Bosom Buddies. I had to make jokes sell, I had to get laughs, I had to have a lot of energy, I had to be really pumped up. And for me anyway, the read-through was a disaster, because nothing I did worked. And then it sort of like developed a flop sweat and tried to push it even harder. And I actually, as I thought often in the course of making the movie, I thought, okay, well, that's it, I've just blown the job, I'm going to get fired.
I remember we left and we just said, boy, this is going to be great, he seems like a, this Tom Hanks guy seems like a regular guy, and he's kind of funny. Yeah, he's kind of funny. Yeah, I think it's going to be good. Yeah, I think it's going to be good, too.
But Ron, literally, that day, literally, he took me aside, and he said, listen, I know what you're doing. I know that you're pushing really hard. I know you think that there's some way you can score with laughs or moments in this thing, and you're not going to be able to do it. John Candy is here. Eugene Levy, they're going to get a lot of good laughs. What you have to do is love the girl. You have to love the girl. And if we don't believe that you love the girl, then we don't have a movie. So, okay, I'm thinking, okay, here's my first official day working on this film, and I've already been chastised by the director for not doing a good job.
He was such a sweetheart, and I remember when we were filming too, he would always, like almost on a daily basis, make derogatory comments about himself and how he would never work again.
The set was just fun. Hanks is a great guy to hang around with, and John Candy and Eugene Levy, hilarious.
We were about to shoot the scene where John comes in and we're trying to steal the mermaid.
John had to fly in from Canada. It was right after a very tragic air disaster occurred for Air Canada. So he had to fly on Air Canada in that morning, go right from the airport to the set and shoot the film. Now, John didn't like to fly anyway, so let's just say he had had a few cocktails on the plane. So John came to work that morning, just kind of smashed.
Good afternoon, Dr. Kornbluth.
He had to immediately, when he got there, work with his Swedish dialect coach to learn the Swedish for the scene. The first 2 Swedish words in his speech when he hits the guards was like, "Hey, roaring," and then he had a whole mouthful of Swedish.
Hey, roaring!
He could never get past "Hey, roaring" without tripping up.
It was so funny that everybody was laughing so hard at just watching him just try to get through the course of this day that sooner or later everybody ruined a take by laughing. Eugene would ruin a take, I would ruin a take, John would ruin a take, Ron would start laughing.
I think my lip was actually bleeding from biting it, because every time John came on and started his Swedish, we would have to look away.
There was one time, literally the boom operator, he couldn't take it.
All you could see was, you know, these guys, the crew, were laughing so hard, waiting for John to screw up, which he did.
Hey, Roring! Jag har en turp en Tums penis.
There was something about the film that was very challenging, but not that stressful.
Yeah, I know where you are. It's good.
It was one of the top 3 or 4 filmmaking experiences of my life, just in terms of having a joyous, creative time while going to work each day.
I got to learn how to scuba dive for free. Well, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. I mean, I would have done this on vacation, and here they're going to pay me to go off and do this. When we were in the 3 weeks of shooting in the Bahamas, I'd leave the hotel room in nothing more than a T-shirt and a bathing suit. And that it was actually quote-unquote work for me. I thought, well, hey, man, if all jobs are like this in movies, sign me up. I'm ready to do it.
The only time that I found it stressful was when I had to eat the lobster. Because I've been a vegetarian since I was 11, and I pick up the lobster to take a bite out of it, and it does this thing that I didn't expect. As I lift it, it kind of wilts in my hand. I kind of got scared and I threw it down and screamed a little bit, I'm like, oh, And
she's really hungry.
And they were like, well, what are we gonna do, they couldn't make a fake lobster, so we had to end up stuffing it with leeks and potatoes.
And they had a big bucket at the end of every take, and she'd have to, dump it all into the bucket.
And still to this day, I cannot eat a leek, because every time that I taste a leek, I'd be like, it's a lobster.
We found with Daryl Hannah that she was so capable of swimming beautifully and holding her breath and not allowing bubbles to escape, that she could actually exert herself and hold her breath and act for up to 60 seconds.
Ron, had wanted to hire a body double to do all of my stunt stuff, and I'm like, oh, I can dive, and they're like, yeah, sure. And then we went to this pool in downtown Los Angeles because it had a window underneath it so that Ron could watch the girls swim, and he had me come down so that he could match our body types. And I had my mermaid swim down because I'd been doing it since I was a little tiny kid, And so all of these girls who were trying to do a mermaid swim, I'm like, no, sorry, it's just not gonna work. That is so not right. And Ron was just in the end like, this is ridiculous. What are we hiring a stunt double for? She can hold her breath longer, swim faster.
We developed these hand signals, one more time, hold.
And this is the camera, and this is, what you're supposed to do. So if the camera's here and you want to swim up to it and then go over it or go under it, and sometimes they use a little grease pencil on a board, but usually the sign language works. If he goes, you watch me, and that means that he'll show you what he wants you to do.
And then, of course, there's the actual universal sign language, which is give me my air.
For me, it wasn't so bad, because at least, I could swim. I could drop the iron weights out of my pants and swim somewhere. But Daryl was in that tail. She couldn't get anywhere. They could only take her out of the water on this kind of like chaise lounge that they tied ropes to, that they'd hold on and she'd climb on and they'd lift her out. I mean, I got to essentially, sit in the sun and have a sandwich for lunch, and she had to lay down in her legs, wrapped up in shrink wrap.
It was between 5 and 8 hours to put it on. It was very, very tight. And at first, when we were shooting, they would, take me out for lunch, but I'd just have to lay there. I couldn't move. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I couldn't walk around, so I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything. And I just lay there and kind of be in pain all the time. So after the first few days, they ended up just leaving me in the tank or letting me stay in the ocean and kind of hang around the side of the boat like a dolphin or something. I'd be like, And sometimes, occasionally, Ron would drop a little French fry in my mouth or something, you know.
The underwater scenes were pretty ambitious because there's real acting there. We had a pretty complicated scene that we cut out, a sequence. Daryl Hannah is startled by this, we called her the sea hag, who gave her the rules. It broke my heart because it was very hard to direct and I was proud of the sequence, but by removing it, there was a little more mystery about her. And we still would learn the rules as the film unfolded, and that actually created more sort of comedic tension and made the story sort of unfold in a more interesting way. I really wanted to approach it as a legitimate love story. I wanted it to really be about the kind of love that I had felt, you know, when I met my wife in high school. The kind of love that just sweeps over you and takes over and you just know is right. It means everything.
In lesser hands, a movie about a mermaid is just a kooky kind of fake movie. And in a weird way, Splash is not a fake movie.
As strong as the idea is, a man falling in love with a mermaid, could be its weakness as well. And what Ron was able to do was, because he breathed such artistic humanity into all of the characters and ultimately into the heartbeat or the spirit of the piece, we got the very best out of a very high concept idea.
It has a realism to it that you fall into. You believe everything that you're seeing.
People laugh, but I know people cried by the end. The romance, I think, hit people pretty hard.
The night it opened, one of the thrills of my professional life, I have to say.
We got our favorite theater. I really always wanted to be in the AFCO because the AFCO Theater is right on Wilshire Boulevard. And you get a sense, is your movie a hit or a flop? Because there's either a line or no line, and it's visible from one of the busiest streets in Los Angeles.
It was emotional to see that people were not only there, but they were lined up around the block.
We got out of our car, we ran around the block and ran to the very end of the line and looked at people's faces, and then we needed the reaffirmation of, what movie are you seeing? And they said, Splash.
And we started visiting other theaters, and they were all like either sold out or 95% full.
It was one of the most exhilarating moments of my professional career.
It's kind of I mean, to be as corny as possible, it's kind of a dream come true, you know, you're writing all those years and suddenly it's your movie. That's the thing.
The best thing for me about that was little kids, you know. I just love, and even to this day, like when they come up to me and they're like, you know, Madison, you know. And plus, I've also met, I think, like hundreds, literally hundreds of kids named Madison. They want to go swimming with me, or, you know, I just love that. I just think that it's so nice.
The odds are always against you making a good movie. And the odds are really against you about having a good time making a movie. Like a great vacation you had, you'd like to pull out the pictures every now and again and remember how pleasant it was, and remember how young everybody was, and how the goodness of the experience is still alive somehow. Film is forever.
The other mermaid movie, with all the big stars and everything, never got made. Hi, I'm Brian Grazer. I'm the producer of the movie, and I wrote the story for the movie. And Splash is probably one of the most important movies to me. It was its own fantasy and dream. It started with the idea of, what if I met a mermaid? And what would that be like? And why would I want to meet a mermaid? And then I had to define the truth of what that mermaid or that woman would be, juxtaposed to me and what my personal needs would be. And so then you know, based on that story, I realized I absolutely needed a script. And the guys to write that script were the writers of our first movie, which would be Lowell, Ganz, and Babaloo Mandel. But it is a movie that it's a movie that took 7 years to actually get made, and it was a really bumpy, hard time to get there. And Ron and I went into the trenches essentially to get it done. And I'm Ron Howard. I directed this movie. It was the second time that I directed a movie which Brian produced, and I really think this is where our partnership began. It didn't get formalized until a few years later when Imagine Films was born. But I think there was something about just the degree of difficulty, the challenge of getting this movie made to begin with, and then the excitement of the way audiences responded to the movie and the way and the level of its success that really launched us as partners. It was gratifying because it came at a point in my life where I think that I had directed a few films and I had confidence as a director, and yet, you know, I'm still a pretty young guy. I'm probably 27 years old at the time, and the romance in this movie, in Splash, is something that I wasn't above. I wasn't cynical about. I felt it to my very core. And I really always saw it as a love story that had a chance to be very, very funny.
Hi, I'm Babaloo Mandel, and I met Mr. Howard when we were working on Happy Days. And one special moment of Splash, my oldest son, who now is 23, we were in Ralph's supermarket, and there was a People magazine at checkout with Daryl Hannah on a hook. It said Splash, and he said, "Look, Daddy, your movie," and gave me a hug, and I said, I made the right choice. That was a great moment for me.
Hi, I'm Lowell Ganz. I'm one of the writers of Splash, and Splash is a movie from myself and my partner Babaloo that changed our lives and spoiled us in a lot of ways, because we'd all done one movie before and we loved it.
Right,
Night
Night
Shift, and I
Shift.
think we still do. But to strain the metaphor of romance and first love, that may have been our first love, but it didn't love us back.
Right,
like this one. This was the first girl that we loved who loved us back. You know,
Yeah, there's
and
no
so
question.
it's that kind of takes up it's a special place.
Yeah, it meant a lot to all of
yeah.
us, the four of us.
So, welcome. If you haven't seen the movie before, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. If you have, see it again. So this was great. It was great for us to get to revisit this movie Splash, which meant a lot in our careers and in our lives. And I hope you enjoyed the commentary and the movie. Thank you.
Okay. Ready? Yeah. You want to visit? No. Okay.
Freddie, for God's sakes, I was immature when you were 10.
Hey, something works. I stick with it. Oh, by the way, I spoke to Shockwell. I told him you were shell-shocked. He respects that, so whenever you see him, just act crazy, all right? Oh, by the way, did you speak to Victoria?
No. By the time I got home, she'd already left.
Damn.
You know why she left me? Because I didn't love her.
That bitch!
I don't know. There must be something wrong with me. Anywhere for the first 3 rows.
Hey, Freddie, Alan, where's Victoria?
Oh, she's, sick. I don't know. Why didn't I love her, huh? She was bright, sensitive, beautiful.
Hey, Alan, where's Victoria?
Flu. Bad flu. Very, very sick.
Oh, well, give her my love.
Sure, you bet. Can't even give her my own love. I'm serious, Freddie. Something is wrong in here.
There are worse organs to be not working. Hey, guys. Hey, Alan, where's that pretty girl of yours?
She's not coming, okay? Want you want your money back? Ooh, jeez.
I don't know, maybe so.
Oh, I see. I don't know. Maybe it's all for the best, huh?
Hey, Alan.
She left me, okay? She's not coming back. She moved out my life into shambles, all right? Now, you got the news. You want the weather, huh?
Freddie. That was immature when you were 10.
Hey, something works, I stick with it. Oh, by the way, I spoke to Shockwell. I told him you were shell-shocked from the war. He really respects that. So anytime you see him, just act crazy, okay? Oh, by the way, did you speak to Victoria?
No. When I got home, she'd already left.
Damn.
You know why she left me? It's because I didn't love her.
That bitch!
There must be something wrong with me. Anywhere but the first 3 rows.
Hey, Freddie, Alan. Well, where's Victoria?
She's sick. Why didn't I love her, huh? I mean, she was bright, sensitive, beautiful.
Hey, Alan, where's Victoria today?
The flu. Bad flu. Very, very sick.
Oh, please give her my love.
You bet. Sure. I can't even give her my own love. I'm serious, Freddie. Something in here is not working.
There are worse organs not to be working. Hey, guys. Hey, Alan, where's that pretty girl of yours?
She's not coming, okay? What, you want your money back? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it'll all be for the best. Huh?
Hey, Alan.
She's left me, all right? She moved out. She's not coming back. I'm my life in the shambles, okay? What, you got the news? You want the weather? Anywhere but the first 3 rows.
Good, okay, great.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Something I never do.
Okay, chime in.
If you... Let me just, Okay. It's just I'm a little confused. Why didn't you speak to me before now?
I didn't know English.
And now you do?
Yes, I learned it this afternoon from the television. It's wonderful. Now I can ask you questions, and if you get them right, I get to give you prizes.
Yeah, great. Listen, let me go first. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? I want to hear your whole life story.
Well, I don't. What's that?
It's a subway.
What's a subway?
It's a big train that runs underground.
Oh, I saw a train on television. I like trains. How do we get there? Let's go. How do you open this?
Well, there's an entrance just down the block. Listen, but you don't want to go down there. There's kids down there that'll spray paint your body and stuff. Man. Are you from Cape Cod?
Oh, no. I'm from another place.
Oh. Well, I got a cousin from there. Are you an American?
No.
Okay. Good. Excuse me. Can we take this back? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right.
Then why were you in Cape Cod? And then New York? And why did they find you naked?
What's that?
That's a black man.
No, that noise.
What, the music?
Music. I heard some music on the television and I liked it. Dance Fever.
You never heard music? Where's that cat following you?
Ooh, what's that?
Oh, gee!
Oh, what's that?
That's a parking meter. Listen, you're going to have to be real careful around this traffic. I mean, you could have just...
Did you see this? It's fantastic and it's so good for you.
Maybe while you're here, you ought to watch a little less TV.
6 fun-filled days.
Yeah, 6 days. 6 days. Is that all? 6 days?
Only 6 days, and then the moon is full.
I haven't checked my calendar yet.
If I stay longer than that, then I can't ever go back.
Oh, it's some sort of immigration thing. I understand. Where did you get that? Oh, excuse me. Hey, Park. Here you go. Sharp pencils. I'm gonna have to call you something in English. I mean, I can't even pronounce the...
What are the English names?
Oh, Jesus, hundreds of millions of them. Wilma, Betty, Lucy, Ethel. Look out, those are hot. Oh, Madison. Well, Barbara, Liza...
Madison. I like Madison.
Madison's not a name.
Oh.
Well, wait. Why not? Okay. You're Madison.
149.
Oh, how can I miss this joke?
Go back to those are hot. Those are hot.
Okay. Oh, look out. Those are hot. Let's see. Madison. What else? Barbara, Liza.
Madison. I like Madison.
Well, it's not a name.
Oh.
Well, hey, why not? Okay, you're Madison. It's good thing you weren't at 149th Street.
Are we going back to where you live now?
Okay. You know, I was going to find you a hotel, but after we, well, I just figured that, would you mind staying with me?
Of course not. That's why I came here.
It's a kiss.
I know.
Oh, gee. Looks like it's gonna rain.
What?
I'm just saying, it looks like it's gonna rain.
Which way is the way to your apartment?
Well, this way, about 10 blocks. Whoa, hey! Yo! I can get a cab! Can't wait to be alone with you.
Very good.
You mean the light?
Alan? Do you like that?
Yeah. Something about it has always appealed to me.
Do you like the sea?
No. See, when I was about 8 years old, I had this little accident on a ship.
I remember.
You remember?
Oh, I mean, that was the wrong word. I understand. Did you get hurt?
Oh, no. It's just... When I was underwater, I thought I saw...
What?
Nothing. No, I was just a stupid kid. You want to go home?
No, I have 5 more days.
No. My home.
Oh, yes.
It's nice to be alone.
Yes, but I like being with a lot of people.
You do?
Yes. How else would I know you were special? Good. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
The green light's on?
Green light.
Hey.
White balance? Oh, that's right. Excuse me. Sorry. It's a lovely hat.
Alan, what's wrong?
I was just thinking, you don't have to go home.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. See, there are things that we can do to get around immigration laws. For instance, I could give you a job down at the market and you could get an American work visa. Or you can marry an American citizen and they have to let you stay.
What?
Oh, nothing. It must be a trick of the light or something. I thought I saw a fish in your glass. Must be hungrier than I thought. You, understand what I was just saying to you?
Well, I'm not... Food's here.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it later.
Can we say it's hot?
Thank you. Thank you. It's delicious.
Madame, would you like your, no, probably not.
Sweetheart face. They don't close this place up for another 4 hours. She's hungry. She just got back from the dentist. Her mouth's still kind of numb. Would you like to have small portions? Good sound effect.
I'm going to do all the way back.
Wait forever. Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right. Hey, come on over here. You need a rest. I want to talk to you.
Oh, your nose is cold.
I want to talk about my nose.
Your ears are red.
I want to talk about any part of my face. I want to talk about what happened at the restaurant.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Where I come from, that's how we eat lobster.
No. I don't care about that. I don't care anything about that. I was trying to do something in there, and I did it badly. I was trying to ask you if you would marry me. Madison, will you marry me?
No.
No. Did you just no? You don't want to think about it?
I can't.
Look, I know you. Why?
I can't tell you why.
Oh, look, I know you have some big secret that you think you can't tell me, but you can. What? You're married? You're dying? You were once a man? Whatever it is, you can tell me.
Alan, I only have 3 more days. Can't we just make them wonderful?
Sure.
Can we skate some more?
Yeah.
Do you know them?
Huh? No. Just some people that I've seen before. It's been coming here for 40 years.
They're very happy.
Well, why shouldn't they be? They can live their lives together.
So this is really what happens to water when it gets cold. Where I come from, it never gets cold.
Wow. What a breakthrough. You just really opened up to me right there.
You're sounding funny.
Yeah, it's called sarcasm. What, they don't have that where you come from either?
No.
Well, they don't have a lot of things, do they? They don't have food, they don't have music, they don't have clothes. Just what kind of a place is this?
What's that?
Look, screw what's that. You can't do this to me, Madison. You can't come in here for 6 days without telling me anything and then leave forever. I want to know where you come from and why you have to leave.
These are hurting my feet.
Tell me. Just tell me.
It's gonna rain.
Screw, who cares?
I have to leave. I have to go.
No, we're not gonna leave until we get this settled. Madison, come back. Madison!
Okay. All right.
It's like this.
You can point all different directions for things.
Okay.
You know, just look looking around, play that as much as you can. See how you guys go. Okay. Okay, we're going on. Well, wait a minute, I'm confused. Why didn't you speak to me before this?
I didn't know English.
And now you do?
Yeah, I learned this afternoon from television. It's wonderful. Now I can ask you questions, and if you get them right, I can give you prizes.
Well, all right. Then let me go first. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? I want to hear the story of your life.
I don't... What's that?
But that's a subway.
What's a subway?
It's a big train that runs underground.
A train? I saw one of those on television. Let's go. How do you open it?
No, Madison, no, you don't, there's no entrance. Well, it's around the side, and you don't want to go down there because there are gangs of kids down there who will spray paint your body. Let's forget that. Are you from Cape Cod?
No, I'm from another place.
Oh, I got a cousin who lives there. Are you in America?
No.
Well, then, why were you in Cape Cod and then New York? And why did they find you naked?
What's that?
That's a black man.
No, that noise.
Oh, you mean music?
Music. I heard some of that on television too. I like it. Dance fever.
Oh. You never heard music? Well, why is that cat following?
What's that?
Oh,
what's that?
no, Madison, look, you could get hit by a taxi cab. You got to be much more careful running out into the street like that. You can't do it.
Did you see this? It's fantastic, and it's so good for you.
You know, while you're here, maybe you should watch a little less TV.
6 fun-filled days.
Is that all?
6 days. And the moon is full.
Ah.
Only 6 days and then I have to go back. I can't ever go back if I don't go then.
Oh, I see. It's some sort of immigration thing. I think I understand. Where did you get that? Blank up with it. Okay, now we're walking down another street. Well, I have to call you something in English. I mean, I can't even pronounce,
What are your English names?
Oh, there's lots of them. There's hundreds. Jane, Betty, Carol. Oh, those are hot. Oh, Madison. There's Susan, Barbara.
Madison, I like Madison.
Oh, that's not a name. It's a street. Well, why not? What the heck? Okay, you're Madison. Good thing we're on 149th Street.
Are we going back to where you live now?
Okay. You know, I was going to find you a hotel, but after I just figured. Do you mind just staying with me?
I want to stay with you. You're the reason I came here.
That was a kiss.
I know.
Come on, I bet it's gonna rain.
What?
I think it's gonna rain.
Which way is where you live?
That way. Wait, hold up. Good. Okay, so I'm very upset watching television and Madison, honey, what happened?
The saddest thing I ever saw.
It's Bonanza.
A man killed another man and he died right in the middle of the street.
No. I thought you knew about TV. I'm sorry. This isn't real. It's all make-believe. It's pretend killing. The guy's an actor. See, the guy got shot. Next week he'll get shot on another show. When you think about it, it's funny.
You mean I'm supposed to laugh?
Why not? I mean, look at this show. There's a 6-foot man, and they call him Little Joe. Here, I got you something.
It's beautiful.
Oh,
I love it.
No, you open it. Come on over here. You need a rest. I wanna talk to you.
Your nose is cold.
I don't want to talk about my nose.
Your ears are all red.
I don't want to talk about any part of my face. Okay? I want to talk about what happened tonight at the restaurant.
Oh, sorry. Where I come from, we always eat lobster.
Oh no, not that. No, that didn't really bother me. What bothered me is that I was trying to do something at the restaurant, and I did it very badly. What I was trying to do was ask you to marry me. Will you marry me? No, just... No, you don't want to think about that.
I can't.
Why?
I can't tell you.
Look, I know you think that there's some big dark secret that you're afraid to tell me, that you can't tell me, but that's not true. It doesn't matter. You're married. You're dying. You were once a man. I just don't care, whatever it is.
We only have 3 more days. Can't we just make them wonderful? Can we go skate some more?
Sure.
Do you know them?
No, I've seen him here before.
They're very happy.
Why shouldn't they be happy? They can spend the whole rest of their lives together.
This is really what happens to water when it gets cold?
Yeah.
Where I come from, it never gets cold.
Wow! A big breakthrough. Boy, you really just opened right up to me there, didn't you? It's called sarcasm. They don't have that where you come from?
No.
They don't have anything where you come from. They don't have ice, they don't have music, they don't have clothes. What kind of place is this?
What's that?
Screw what's that? Look, you can't do this to me. You can't come here for 6 days and tell me nothing and then leave forever. Now, I want to know who you are, why you came here, and where you have to go, and why you have to leave.
These are hurting my feet.
Tell me. Tell me.
It's gonna rain.
Who cares?